Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the best shows ever made. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie, is one of the worst movies ever made, and it's significantly worse than you remember it being. When this movie came out, everyone couldn't wait to drop their trousers and take a fat shit on it, just plant a steaming load, because the movie's terrible, so it deserves all the insults and all of the scathing reviews it received. But yesterday, Andrew and I decided to take a bath in the M. Night Shyamalan septic tank and watch this film. It's the first time he'd seen it, and the second time for me. I first saw it in 2016 because I'm a bad movie enthusiast, and I wanted to taste the forbidden fruit of the Avatar movie. I'd always heard how horrible it was, and I didn't see it when it first came out in 2010, so I went back to just experience it, and it was miserable. But after watching it yesterday again, I swear to God, M. Night Shyamalan himself has gone back into the movie to change things around to make them even worse. The movie is progressively getting stinkier. I felt like I entered an alternate dimension where the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie was somehow even worse than it was in 2010. I didn't remember half of these scenes being as atrocious as they were, and it hasn't been that long since I saw it. It was shocking, and I don't say this lightly, but I do believe this is one of the worst films ever made. Yes, it is worse than The Room when it comes to its dialogue. The dialogue in this film actually does sound like it was written by Tommy Wiseau if he had just hit 50 whippets in his car. It is baffling that this somehow ended up in a big budget film. And I think it's worse than any student film, any indie film. It's worse than fucking YouTube Halo 3 machinimas. It is unbelievably terrible in every possible department. It's extremely obvious nobody on the production side ever watched the Avatar show because they get the pronunciation of every single name wrong. They don't even call him the Avatar, they call him the Avatar. And everyone already knows this, but his name's not Aang in the movie, it's Ong. Sokka is Sokka. Everything is wrong. It's like they just read a Wikipedia article about the Avatar show and then tried to make a movie off it based on 3 sentences, like a plot synopsis. I can't even wrap my head around how it ended up like this. It tries to cover a lot from the Avatar show. It goes all the way up to the moon spirit, starting from literal bottom, starting from the very beginning. In an hour and 40 minutes, it goes from freeing Aang from the water tribe area all the way up to the moon spirit. And nothing makes sense.
Never have a normal life. That I could never have a family.
They said it cannot work with the responsibilities of the Avatar.
Why can't the Avatar have a family?
I asked that.
I wanted to show quite a few scenes from this movie while I talked about it to make my points, but I just don't want to take the chance of any copyright violations or anything like that, because God already knows M. Night Shyamalan will get the fucking copyright benders out here and fuck me up. So I'm only going to show bits and pieces here, but here's just an example of a conversation in this movie. It's like 2 Skyrim NPCs malfunctioning anytime characters talk to each other. They don't have conversations. They just vomit out plot synopsis. Just random sentences from the Wikipedia article about like Chapter 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender show. They don't actually talk to each other. And it's also filmed super weird, as you'll see here, where it's like a zoom in on their face, like as if it's under a microscope. Like I can see every pore on Ong's face here. Why is it such like a hyper close-up? As if I'm trying to like look at his DNA, like get down to an atomic level on him. It's shot so poorly. And they turn Katara into a goddamn trivia bot. All she does is say like general things about the world at random and ask the dumbest questions of all time. Like, this is a really small excerpt here as an example. When she's on screen, all she's gonna do is monotone ask a question to whoever's near her. It's like she's lobotomized, and all she can do is just ask silly questions. It's like she's Clippy from Microsoft XP who just keeps popping up with a question that you just don't even understand why it's being asked. I don't know why she's even in the movie, because she doesn't do anything. And I don't mean that as an exaggeration. She doesn't do anything besides ask questions sometimes or appear emotionless and say something general about what's going on. For example, there's a scene where Ong runs away, and her and Sokka hear him running away, so they both get up out of bed and they say, "Ong's running away." And Katara says, "He's running away, but he'll probably be back." And that's it. That's like the only thing she contributes to the film in every scene, is just saying things that everyone can already see, or asking questions that are either already being answered or have no place in the film in the first place. She doesn't even waterbend. There's only 3 scenes, I believe, where she's waterbending. 2 of them she fails. Well, 4 actually. The 4th scene, they forgot to use special effects, so she's like bending water, but they didn't put any special effects, so it's just like a calm river underneath her while Ong's looking impressed. So I imagine what was supposed to happen is she was supposed to be like lifting water up, but they just forgot to add that. So 4 scenes where she's supposed to be waterbending. One of them, they didn't even add the effects, and then the other scene is she just gets hit by fire. So in the first 2 scenes, the waterbending fails. The last scene at the very end of the movie, where she's facing off against Zuko, she makes 2 water barriers, blocks 1 fireball, gets hit and knocked out. That's it. That's like the last time we see her. She doesn't do anything. I don't even know why she's here. She's just a fucking punching bag. And Sokka, I can't even imagine what M. Night Shyamalan told the actor to do, because when he's on screen, he just looks like he's always on the verge of tears. Like, he's always so serious, and he only has one look in this entire movie. He's like Derek fucking Zoolander. All he does is when he's on screen, he does this. Forever. He doesn't fight. He doesn't contribute anything. He doesn't even really talk. He doesn't make jokes like Sokka does in the show. He is nothing. He is a fucking android that is malfunctioning. Like, you would expect for a big budget movie like this, they would hire actors that actually wanted to be there, but I felt like all of them were just counting down till they could go home. None of them even tried, except for Zuko. Zuko is actually played by a really talented actor named Dave Patel. He's the only one that even gives a fuck in this film, but even he is dog shit here. But he's the only one that I could see was even trying to act. The other ones just sound like they're voice acting on Disney Junior.
How'd you get all the way out here?
I ran away from home.
We got in a storm. We were forced under the water of the ocean.
Oh, I see.
It
Wow.
wasn't very smart. I was just upset.
They're just literally explaining a plot summary of the show.
Hollywood.
Yeah. With about the same delivery as me reading it in my head. The way the characters deliver their lines sounds about as enthusiastic as I do when I wait in line at the DMV and then have to fill out some shit. Like, they just seem so unbelievably bored to be there. And the movie, the most criminal thing about the movie is just how boring it is. Because like I said, they try and covered a lot from the Avatar show in a short amount of time. Thus, the majority of the movie comes out exactly like what you just saw, where they're just vomiting plot summary at each other with nothing else happening. Now, this film had a $150 million budget, so you would expect with that much money behind it, at least the fighting and the effects would look good. No. It's made in Adobe After Effects, it feels like, or Sony Vegas. Like, it's fucking trash. Look at this.
Oh my lord! Here it is!
Yeah.
Yeah!
Whoa! Watch out!
You can't.
This is an actual scene in the final cut of the film. Fucking 10 earthbenders doing an interpretive dance in order to summon a small pebble and slowly push it towards their opponent. This is actually the scene out of Austin Powers when he's in the fucking steamroller and slowly about to run over that guy. And he just keeps screaming. That's the action in this entire movie. It's just people standing there waiting to slowly be hit by something, whether it's a small pebble from the earthbenders or a slight gust of wind from Ong. He doesn't use any cool airbending. Like, when Ong is fighting, he is summoning like actual puffs of wind. Like as much wind as I generate just blowing out. That's what you see on screen for the fights. It's so fucking bad. Also, firebenders can't generate flames on their own in this movie. They need a fire source nearby. So the whole film falls apart at the end, where they could just extinguish the flames around the city and the firebenders would be powerless. Because the waterbenders could just throw water on all the torches that light up their city, and the firebenders wouldn't be able to fight back. Because for some fucking reason, M. Night Shyamalan decided to completely change how the bending works for them. So they needed a nearby fire source. Thus, the whole thing could have been avoided by just... If they just said, oh, here's the Fire Nation coming in. Alright, extinguish those torches. Then they're worthless. The film is so unbelievably silly.
That's the M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Oh, it's just like Lord of the Rings.
It is. It's as memorable and good, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't feel like writing a speech or a line, so he just said, go up there and make a noise. That right there is the only good piece of dialogue where one of the guys just goes up and instead of giving a speech just goes, because because they just decided not to write dialogue or anything inspirational. Just this random fucking dude goes up there and just makes a goofy noise. That's about as much effort as that went into the entire film. That's the perfect summary of this film. Just go up there and do whatever. I don't care. I got paid a lot of money to make an Avatar movie, but I don't feel like doing any amount of work to make it good. This movie is beyond bad. This movie is like getting a colonoscopy while wide awake for it. It is painful. M. Night Shyamalan's known for his twists in movies, and the biggest twist about the Avatar movie was that it was the worst fucking thing you'll ever see in your life. So if you like the show, get ready to get slapped in the face. It is so much worse than I remembered it being, and it hasn't been that long since I've seen it. It is so fucking bad, and I've only scratched the surface. I wanted to do a really in-depth dive on it, but I just don't really want to risk like a copyright violation or anything, so I'm going to refrain from doing that. I'm just giving you the general basis on why it's so bad and what makes it so awful. There is not a single moment in this entire film that is even remotely interesting or well done. There is no character besides Zuko that even tries a little bit. And even Zuko, who's by far the best performer in this film, does an awful job. Because I really feel like M. Night Shyamalan told everyone to do terrible. Like, go out there and give it your absolute worst take. Andrew made a good point. He said Shyamalan probably just took the 70th take of each scene, so all the actors were exhausted. That's the only explanation for how it ended up so bad, and how every single character in here is so poorly done. It makes no sense that this fucking film is in the state that it's in. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit since I rewatched it yesterday. That's about it. See ya. I wasn't always this fearless, hulking testosterone tyrant that I am today. It's embarrassing to say this out loud, but actually at one point in my life, I was a child. And as a kid, I was really afraid of horror movies, if you can believe that. Nowadays, I find them to be enjoyably bad. I really like horror movies a lot, but mainly because they're so bad, they're good. But this wasn't always the case. When I was in middle school, just some Lunchables eating, algebra studying little idiot, I couldn't stand even the idea of a horror movie. I used to cover my eyes during the commercials for horror movies during football games, or I'd just leave the room till the horror movie advertisement was over. It was too much for me. And I did finally nut up one day, and I went to the mall with my friends in probably 6th or 7th grade and saw my first horror movie, One Missed Call. It's widely considered one of the worst horror movies ever made. I think it still has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it was a movie that scared me to my very core. It changed me. It's probably the reason why I'm not afraid of horror movies now, because I got all of the possible fear one could experience across their entire life out within those 2 hours of watching that film in theaters. It was traumatizing to me. And to make it even worse, I saw it with a girl I had a crush on at the time, and I was like, okay, this is going to be big for me. She's going to see how strong and cool I am when I'm not afraid of this. I'll just fucking buckle down and make it through it, no problem. Pretend it was easy. But that plan fell apart, went straight in the shitter almost immediately. I was screaming at every jump scare. I was even tearing up at one point. My blood pressure must have been at 500, and my heart was probably close to exploding with how fast it was beating. It was miserable, and there's no way she thought I was cool. She probably thought she was going to need to call 911 or something. Like, my whole group was probably concerned. I was the only one reacting this way. I was going nuts. From outside that theater auditorium, people must have thought there was a kid being tortured in there. It must have sounded like that scene in Casino Royale when James Bond is getting his nuts fucking blasted by the villain. I was going crazy. And the horror movie, like, looking back on it, wasn't like a good idea or anything. One Missed Call is basically you get a phone call, they leave a voice message, and it's the sound of you dying. And then as the movie goes, the person who receives that voice message does die in that same way that they heard on the phone. Not the scariest of ideas for a horror movie ever, but this was during a time when the Motorola Razr was still new and I had one. So I had like my own custom ringtone, which was Let Your Shoulder Lean by them Franchise Boys. And, you know, technology was this like weird and wacky new thing. So that idea was enough to scare me. And then the movie itself had a lot of jump scares, which also, like, I'd never experienced a jump scare before, so when that shit was happening, I couldn't contain myself. So I found a video that I actually recorded, I think almost 2 years, maybe even 3 years ago with Jackson, where we went back and watched One Missed Call, kind of like as a way of going back and conquering my fear, because it was time for revenge. Like, this movie scared me one time, but not this time. So Jackson and I went back and watched it. He wanted to see what movie actually scared me, and I wanted to see if the movie was even scary to begin with. So I'll just show you some clips from that.
So wait, were you scared because of the contents of the movie, or did the quality of the movie scare you? Which one?
It was definitely the movie itself. Like, it set out to scare people, and it certainly worked on me. It wasn't like an ironic thing.
I swear every one of these movies ends the same way.
They really do. I have no idea what this is, but I'm in it to win it now. I'm getting served. Jesus Christ. Is this one of the M&Ms? Is this a commercial? Some fat cheeks right there. Good God, he's fucking Fortnite dancing on me. They look like hot dog buns for chodes. But it looks like you're looking down on a woman's cleavage and she has small tits. They don't look like beans. Man, the prison inmates are popping off! Does it ever end, or is this the whole movie? You know what? I'm not gonna skip around to find out. I'm just gonna be surprised. This is James Bond calling. We need Killer Bean.
Can you turn down the... How's that?
It didn't change the volume at all. Up or down.
That much better?
They didn't have the editing technology.
Or I'll come over there and...
It's just like a Bad Boy spin-off of VeggieTales. Make a threat, grab the gun, back to dancing, baby. Just a normal day out here. Oh shit. Batmobile rolling up. Not to be racist, but all of these beans look the same.
I get irritable.
I'm not gonna know who's who.
Make me...
Oh, baby! This guy's got some cool weapon skins there. His mom gave him the credit card for some loot crates. God damn! Who made this? Pixar? What is this? I don't want to look anything up. I'll wait till the end. This is like those old stick figure death animations from back in the earlier 2000s, but with beans instead of stick figures. Did John Wick steal from Killer Beans, I wonder?
Charlie, you can't say no to this one. Thank you.
That was the most lit shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. I'm gonna be having a wet dream about that tonight. Unironically, the dopest, most 90s expert move I've ever seen.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who my uncle is?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh.
I do.
Jeff, you've done it again. This is a masterpiece. Gotham. 50 BC. Jesus Christ was almost ready to be born, till the Killer Bean decided he shouldn't be. Is this not a bean? Don't tell me this is human. A human being.
Detective Cromwell, good morning.
Dumbest fucking joke I've ever thought of in my life. Does he sign his shell casings? I, Hubert, did this. Oh, he does.
Killer Bean.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start having my condoms engraved. He's gonna start cartwheeling and breakdancing, dodging bullets.
Hold it right there.
McCree's alting.
Multiple homicides.
Why do most of them have actual pants? I think it's to distinguish the characters.
Warehouse is just icing on the cake.
So like the bare-dicked ones, like cock and ball out beans, are the ones that are henchmen.
Your car's parked illegally. You better get it out of here before we talk.
That wasn't even a meme. Yeah, no. So Jeff Liu, the galaxy brain mastermind who made Killer Bean, did the visual effects for Matrix Reloaded, X-Men first, nope, the first X-Men, Tron Legacy, Transformers, Killer Bean Forever, Killer Bean 2, The Party.
What's this?
Fuck yeah. In 1996, he made a Killer Bean movie. This has been like his child since 96. Everyone said Jeff's lost his mind. And now look at them, they're all dead. And Jeff is the king.
I had a rough night last
Open letter to Jeff Lou, if you're watching the stream, I will voice act in your next Killer Bean movie. I could be like a cum dumpster horror or something, I don't care, but just get me in there.
The target.
I have no idea how long the movie is. Hopefully it's just an infinite duration. Jeff is animating it as we're watching, so it never fucking ends.
Yes.
I feel like Jeff did all the voices.
Such a hangover. Yeah, Bean, that was a kick-ass party last night, right?
Jeff did all the voices. I'm starting to tell.
Stay for the whole.
Drugs should sell, right?
Alright, I gotta give a quick critique. They're focusing too much on the exposition now. He's setting up too many moving pieces. When what the people want is Killer Bean just going nuts to butts, full throttle, full tilt, tits out action. Like we had in the beginning.
It's all those
Just fly up there and get him. Oh, baby. Now that's choreography.
Tequila, tonic, and turn up the TV.
On the rocks. A little bit of goat urine, not too much.
Detective
Gasoline,
Cromwell,
dirt,
concerning possible
shoelace.
suspects, rumors
The norm.
have surfaced.
This is Cromwell, right? That's his name? Detective Cromwell. Classic 44, baby. Ready to get wild and rowdy. God, the tension is nuts. Cromwell facing off with Killer Bean. That's some fanfic shit right there.
This is good.
Really?
I feel like directors have a hard time coming up with like an intimidating and cool name.
Why don't we cut?
They should just default to using
Why
Charlie.
don't you tell me what you?
That's just like a universally cool, badass name.
So my guess is, this belongs to you.
Damn!
Well, it looks like you figured it all out. Good job.
Now you have to kill him.
Another.
God, there's so much fucking testosterone here, I can feel more hairs springing up on my chest. Just watching. Thought we were about to lose Cromwell. Jesus. Now make the gun scissor.
Not bad,
Symbolism.
but mine's bigger.
I'm getting hard Chicken Little flashbacks. I think it's just the mouths.
Sorry, it was a double flusher.
But you only flushed once.
Honestly, the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. This man flushes a double flusher shit in only one flush.
Hey, don't. You're not gonna shoot me if you need the answers.
Do it, Cromwell.
Besides, I can't answer you anyway. So, I'll have to do this instead.
Oh, shit. He's no snitch, Cromwell. He won't spill the beans. God, that's a stupid fucking joke again. That's a really shitty one.
Killed everyone. Is he someone I should be worried about? Nah.
This dude, I would hate to have this guy as a friend, just perpetually drinking beer with a 44 raised to the sky. Oh, fuck yeah. The camera work in this animation is better than half of Hollywood movies. It's just one camera going in and out, giving you good angles, no over-reliance on cuts.
How do you know?
It's refreshing.
Well,
Finally, some talent.
keep firing! Don't let up!
It's already over.
Grenade!
The ragdoll is so good. Now this is how you do action, baby. Fuck yeah. Every time a bean dies, it reminds me of Overgrowth. It took like 50 years for that game to come out, and Jeff Liu does it in 5 months with Killer Bean. Oh, baby. The Elite Ops. How the fuck is Killer Bean getting out of this one? It's like a clown car.
Escort detail for high-level dignitaries. Hostage extraction.
Stop listening to them, Bean. Don't let him get in your head.
Surgical strikes. Or just plain
Blast some ass.
And destroy.
Let's make one thing clear.
I
Last
can't
night
read.
was a party. Tonight, I get to work.
I called it. Well, kind of. There it is, baby. The classics. I like to imagine Jeff Liu did the mocap for Killer Bean himself. Like Jeff Liu is just this extreme killer badass, just like Killer Bean.
Decaffeinated.
Yeah, I just filled my pants right there. That was a solid line. Jeff does it all, baby. Jeff does it all. Oh, please kick flip it and then ride it. Damn it. Missed opportunity. It's not a badass movie unless there's a motorcycle scene. So come on, get on there, Bean.
Patience, Vegan. I need answers. I need answers from him.
Jeff can't decide what accent to give that Bean. Earlier it was like pseudo-Italian, now it's just Jeff overdosing on Xanax, voicing the lines.
It's about time.
But it's already too
How does
late.
it feel to be killed?
Killer Bean
by
freed
your
himself
own
30
gun?
seconds ago and was just waiting.
Funny. I was about to ask you the same thing.
Oh! That's how we fucking do it,
Done
baby.
playing games for today. Kill you. Why did you betray us, Dark Bean?
I didn't betray
Dark Bean.
anyone. The Shadow Agency
That sounds like an
betrayed
Xbox
me.
Live auto-generated gamer tag.
You're the one who destroyed our database
Dark
and
Bean
stole
55.
years of intelligence work. How could you do that? No, you're lying. I'm not gonna believe you. I won't believe a word you say.
Don't tell me that's how the boss fight ends. No. Not against Vegan. Come on, Vegan was a... Oh no. He was such a badass. Well, that's underwhelming. That was wasted potential. Thanks for the resub, Sussel. I'm not satisfied with that. I'm blue-balled now. Now I need to rely on Rule 34 fan art to show me how this fight could have gone.
Don't shoot! Hold your fire!
He really can... Jeff cannot decide on this Bean's voice. Now he's doing like a Peter Griffin.
If you tell me what I need to know, I can
Is he gonna beat all their asses handcuffed? Oh, baby. Now we're feeling it. Hope everyone's got a condom on. You're gonna need it. This is the patented Jeff Bean choreography.
Another move, and we drop you.
They decided to kill me the moment they sent me on this mission.
Was it Jet Bean or Jack Bean?
Dark Bean told me. The agency knew that once I found out the truth about them, they couldn't trust me.
Jet
right.
Bean, okay. So instead of Jet Li,
Save
Jet
your
Bean,
breath,
I get it.
Killer Bean.
I see what you're going for, Jeff.
You're going
Very
to
clever.
need it.
But I'm no Shadow Bean.
Oh, baby! Damn, Jet Bean's feeling it already. Stop using the gun, Killer Bean. You'll never beat him with that.
Certainly.
Oh, he's got Wonder Woman's gauntlets.
Well, at least you're in the fighting mood now.
Oh, now we're in it. This is what's putting hair on my chest. I'm about to stand up and be 5 inches taller just from all of the hormones pumping through me. Finally, Killer Bean squaring off against Jet Bean. Oh! It's like unironically cool. Like, it's just like genuinely fun. God, this is making my fucking cock throb. Man, and to think I was gonna play a video game tonight, I would have missed Killer Bean. I would have never known about this. That's a fucking shame. That's a sin. Somewhere in the multiverse, one fucking cursed Charlie played a video game tonight and not watched Killer Bean. Feel bad for that guy. Ooh! Good counter, good counter. Damn! A power bomb! Atomic drop his ass! And then eat his vulva. Cunnilingus. Oh yeah. He's gonna shoot himself. I win. That's like some Mortal Kombat shit.
John Wick 4 and streaming it so we can watch it with you. I'll help cover admission.
Yeah, no worries, Nube. Keanu Reeves gave me this director's cut of John Wick 4, just for the sole purpose of streaming it. I will petition to Jeff Liu himself to put the fucking sequel on here. Or if the sequel's, you know, on VHS or something, I don't know, or fucking 8-track cassette, have him get a studio and port that bitch.
This will do.
Oh, God, what a movie. What a movie. Who suggested this? Mod that man. Fucking great suggestion. From start to finish, just a fucking masterpiece. Showing the full capabilities of the Unreal Engine 1999. M. Night Shyamalan is back, and he's Vince McMahon walking to the big screen again with a big banger called Trap. It's all about a serial killer who takes his daughter to a concert, and it turns out that concert is actually a setup from the authorities to catch him. Now, I called it a banger a moment ago, but being honest, it's not amazing. It's a good concept, and it's a concept I thought would be a super easy layup, but in standard M. Night Shyamalan fashion, he delivers the twist, and that twist was somehow missing this layup. I'm going to get into the meat of it in a second, but it is kind of upsetting because I like M. Night Shyamalan movies conceptually, but he has just been really executing pretty poorly on them. The last time I remember really liking one of his movies was Split, and that was quite a long time ago now. I say I like them conceptually, but then I'm always reminded that he made a movie about a beach that makes you old. And that just puts a smile on my face because that is so fucking silly. It reminds me of something that I would think of as like a one-off joke about like a Netflix original film that has a pair of shoes that are evil that breaks your ankle when you put them on or something stupid. But overall, Trap isn't a bad movie, but it could have been so much better. So I'm going to be getting into spoilers here. For this movie, it'd be impossible not to. So M. Night Shyamalan's daughter plays a very big role in this film, and she is a pop star in it. And in real life, she does a lot of music. And I'm not kidding when I say the first half of this film is almost entirely a concert that's showcasing her songs. There is nothing happening beyond us watching choreography and her performing her music, and then sometimes it cuts to the serial killer who's like looking around and like kind of pseudo dancing. but it really feels like you're just watching a DVD of a pop star's tour. The music's not bad or anything, but it genuinely feels like this movie started with M. Night Shyamalan just wanting to showcase his daughter's musical talent, and then he's like, well, I needed something a little more in here. It can't just be a concert. Eureka! What if I put a serial killer in the audience? That ought to be a good hook. That's how we can package this concert. And, like, it's not a bad movie, but really nothing happens. So what you see in the trailer, where there's all of the FBI and all of these police officers and SWAT around the arena, those scenes are like half of the film, and you see pretty much everything the serial killer does in the trailer. So, like, he's not crafty. Like, he's not actually good at escaping. He sometimes just got really lucky, and that was it. So the scene where he pushes a lady down the stairs, which is in the trailer, yeah, he does that, and then nothing happens from it. He just goes back upstairs, and then when he, like, has a fryer blow up and spit hot oil to distract people to put on a disguise, and that's really, like, the only two things he does in that whole fucking arena, and both of them are in the trailer for the film. I really thought that this was going to be, like, a battle of wits, of a super genius serial killer outsmarting authorities to escape their net here, their web. But he really makes two maneuvers. He then takes a walkie-talkie so he can be, kept up to date with the hot comms and get, like, play-by-play of what's going on and where they're at, what they're thinking. And he just doesn't really do anything super smart. Like, he didn't come up with, like, a really good plan where he tries to distract all of the authorities by being like, holy shit, is that goof juice over there? The best Gamer Supps flavor ever made and the best flavor of any beverage ever? Wow, look at that incredible goof juice. And if you want some goof juice, you can go to gamersupps.gg. And then, everyone starts swarming like, goof juice, I gotta get some of that. And then he just slips out the front door because they're all too busy with that. But he doesn't do anything actually smart. Like, it's actually like how I would play a Hitman game. Like, in the quickest way possible. Like, getting the most bare bones disguise, then going to the employees only area, hearing a code word, using the code word, which didn't play any role in anything. All it did was get him out of, like, one dialogue tree option and nothing else. And then that was all he did. The way he escaped, big spoiler, is he just lied to M. Night Shyamalan, who was a self-insert in this movie, saying that his daughter really wanted to be the dreamer girl, which would allow him and his daughter to go backstage, and then he'd just leave through the backstage area. Like, that's so underwhelming. Like, this elaborate setup, there's, like, this profiler who's reading him like a book, and the profiler is by far the smartest character in the movie. Like, she gets all of these details right. She's truly, like, living in his fucking head. Like, she is in his brain pulling the levers and he doesn't even know it. And that was cool. Like, I really like that. But the serial killer just literally doesn't do anything to outsmart anyone per se. So when they do get backstage, his huge play, like his last Hail Mary, because it really is checkmate. It's impossible to escape the trap. And what he eventually does is he pulls the pop star aside and says, you see this man? And pulls out his phone, pointing to a guy that he has in his fucking dungeon, like his basement. I'm going to kill him if you don't take me and my daughter out of here in your limousine. And she's like, oh, I don't want to be responsible for that. And so she does. That's how he escapes the trap. Like, that's not really outsmarting anyone. That's not being, like, some kind of nefarious evil genius. Like, it's just lame. And like I said, the bulk of this entire first half is just spent listening to music and watching the concert. A lot of times he's just doing idle Fortnite animations while we're listening to the concert. And his daughter's dancing, the arena's dancing, the pop star is dancing. And that's really most of what you're getting. So it's just a concept that I thought was cool, where I thought it was going to be like a battle of wits, where this serial killer is coming up with all kinds of really elaborate plans to escape against really smart authorities. I thought this would be like a Light Yagami versus L situation somehow. And holy goodness gracious, hooey, that couldn't have been further off. In fact, I'd actually say the serial killer is pretty dumb. So the butcher is, like, they hype him up as this, uncatchable mastermind. But when you actually get to see him and like how he approaches things, he's kind of like an imbecile, actually. I'm getting into huge spoilers, but the way they eventually get him at the very end of the movie is his wife actually found him out. So he has a family, obviously, and his wife was onto him, and she left little breadcrumbs for the authorities, which led them to the concert. And right before the butcher is about to kill his wife because he finds out that his wife knew, she says, "No, before you do that, why don't we eat this pie?" And he's like, "Fine, we'll eat this pie. It'll only stall for a little bit, but you know what? We shall eat this pie." And it turns out she poisoned the pie. Like, no shit, obviously. Like, you're telling me this mastermind, evil serial killer, the butcher, didn't think for a second that this could have been poisoned after his wife has made it clear that she has known for quite a while that he is the butcher? How? How? The guy who doesn't make, like, any mistakes, even though this whole movie is just a showcase of his fucking lowlights here, like, every mistake that you could make in his positions, he does make, and then sometimes just gets lucky. In fact, the only times things go right for him in this movie is when he just gets lucky, and that's it. It also felt like this movie just didn't really know when to end. It's not a long movie, and it doesn't really feel like it drags, but it felt like they kept backing themselves into a corner, like, okay, the butcher's about to get caught, and then he just has this ass pull moment where he's got like a fucking tunnel in his closet that leads him outside, which allows him to convince a limo driver that actually he needs to be driving the limo because he's a SWAT officer, because he got a SWAT officer's uniform. And then he eventually fucks that up too. Like, really, it's just a movie that had a good concept that just wasn't executed overly well. I don't think it's bad, like, I was entertained. And I think half of that is because I really liked the butcher. The actor that was playing the butcher I thought did a really good job. But holy shit, that is the most suspicious looking guy in every scene. So when he's still trying to escape the trap, everyone he talks to, he looks like a Gmod character, like going through all kinds of facial animations, just overly emoting every possible gesture. Like, he is so suspicious. Even if this wasn't set up as a trap, I am shocked that just a bystander wasn't like, okay, this guy is up to no good, and then telling security or some shit. Like, he is just so suspicious every time he interacts with a human being. But, like, that was part of the fun, I guess. So another thing is, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, after they escape in the limousine, she then starts making some pretty big brain plays, and that was cool. Like, she started to outsmart him. Literally everybody outsmarts him until he just kind of gets lucky. So, like, it's not a bad film. There are things I liked about it, but I just can't ignore that it really feels like the main purpose of this film was to promote his daughter's music. And the music's good, but I also would have liked to see pretty much the entire movie take place in that arena with that concept of how are you going to outsmart all of these officers and get out of there. Like, I would have liked to see how they could have explored that concept more effectively, because they don't really do anything with it. Like I said, he only does like 2 or 3 things in the arena until he's just like, okay, I'm gonna kill this guy if you don't let me out, which isn't exactly like the most satisfying way of getting out of that situation. That's really kind of lazy. So yeah, overall a bit disappointing. If I was to plug it into the moist meter, I'd probably give it like a 50%-ish, maybe like a 48% if we're gonna just be pulling some numbers out of our ass. It's a fine movie, I just don't think it's very good. It could have been so much better, but like I said, it really felt like the focus of the film was on M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's music, and they didn't really know what else to do beyond a concert. Like, I don't know why you'd have a serial killer who's hyped up to be, like, super crafty and everything do pretty much nothing crafty. It was just kind of a bit of a letdown for that. Cool concept, and once again, just not executed super well. That's about it. So yeah. The time is finally upon us. Most people thought this day would never come, but it has. Mickey Mouse is public domain. Kind of, to a certain extent. Steamboat Willie is fair game now, and you're already seeing everyone with a pulse start to dogpile on it like they're trying to recover a fumble in the NFL. Everyone is scrambling to snatch up and use Mickey Mouse in the quickest things they can, like horror movies. We just saw one be announced with a trailer, horror games, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. Mickey Mouse is arguably one of the most recognizable characters ever created. So, obviously this is a pretty big deal that now it's fair game for anyone to use them. You could use Mickey Mouse to promote whatever you want. You could have Mickey Mouse doing the foulest shit ever, a 2 Girls 1 Cup official Mickey Mouse production. You could do whatever you want because now that Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse is public domain. I'm not a copyright attorney, so I don't know all of the nitty-gritty. I can't really dive into the weeds of what is and is not permissible for Steamboat Willie Mickey, but as I understand it right now, and at least judging based on the horror movie that just got announced and the horror game, you can use Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie variant for pretty much whatever your little noodle wants to cook up with them in there. Now, for those of you that don't know what the Steamboat Willie Mickey is, it might sound like a fucking SCP to you. That's like the original OG genesis of Mickey Mouse, so this is all the way back in the 20s, and that's what's now entered the public domain, that Steamboat Willie variant of Mickey. So, Disney did make a statement saying, more modern versions of Mickey will remain unaffected by the expiration of the Steamboat Willie copyright, and Mickey will continue to play a leading role as a global ambassador for the Walt Disney Company in our storytelling, theme park attractions, and merchandise. This is when they were going over what you can and can't use for this, because there is a bit of confusion since it is Mickey Mouse, but a certain version of him. It's not every version of Mickey. We will, of course, continue to protect our rights in the more modern versions of Mickey Mouse and other works that remain subject to copyright, and we will work to safeguard against consumer confusion caused by unauthorized uses of Mickey and our other iconic characters. So as long as you don't fly too close to the sun when using Steamboat Willie Mickey, you should be fine. It just can't teeter on a modern depiction of Mickey Mouse because then Disney is gonna fucking snap on you. That company is downright evil, and when it comes to enforcing their copyright, no expense will be spared. They will put you in an early grave if they so much as sniff that you accidentally used a modern variant of Mickey outside of Steamboat Willie. It's all fun and games until you put modern version of Mickey Mouse in your Facebook ad for your vape business, and all of a sudden you got the goddamn official Disney goof troop showing up at your doorstep, breaking your kneecaps and putting a gun to your skull. So just be careful. Steamboat Willie Mickey, fair game, public domain, but not all versions of Mickey. Now let's go ahead and go over what is already been announced. So let's talk about Mickey Mouse, huh? Steamboat Willie. It's free, and it's immediately being used and abused here. As I predicted, not to wiggle my finger and say I told you so, the first implementation is a bad horror movie. Just like Winnie the Pooh with Blood and Honey. I said one of the first things that's going to be made is some absolute schlock horror film in order to immediately capitalize off shock ticket sales. And lo and behold, a Mickey Mouse horror movie is coming out. They had this puppy ready. Why is that the default? Because it's extremely cheap to make. You can pump out a horror film very low budget. Great example. I actually talked about this today on the podcast. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey had a budget of $100K and it made $5 million in the box office. $5 million in the box office would be a death sentence to pretty much anything except for something like this. This made a killing. And Mickey Mouse will do the same, all just because of the concept. And this movie fucking sucks. It's not even fun bad. And they're making a sequel. Yeah. So Mickey Mouse is immediately getting the same treatment. I haven't seen the trailer, so who knows, maybe I'll watch the trailer and be blown away. My eyes roll in the back of my head like I'm just truly shocked by how great it looks, but I already know this is just going to be the most throwaway garbage. Let's take a peek. It actually even looks like the same kind of costume design for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And I'm pretty sure this knife he's using comes from one of the YouTube sponsors for like the knife company. It really seems like this was made very quick. I'll get to the horror game in a minute. I'm singing a different tune for the horror game, I'm not gonna lie. Well, let me pull up the horror movie, though.
These are the best party that we can throw.
Oh, actually, wait. I feel like this might have, like, titties or something in it. Has anyone watched it yet? Is this Toss? Because Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey did. The audio is really fucked up. It's like they recorded it with their phone.
What?
Yes.
exactly the same DNA as Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. Make something for $50, pump it out, get a couple of curious ticket sales, call it a day. But, now on the flip side of that coin, this game actually looked kind of hype, I'm not gonna lie. So, the horror movie, a pile of dog shit. That sucks shit through a crazy straw. But, Infestation 88, we might have a little something here, I'm not gonna lie on this. Yeah, I already saw this on Twitter, so I know it looks good.
There's something else in here.
Okay, I think this could be a banger. Mickey laid eggs. They took some creative liberties with the public domain. Still milking the whole kid thing turned horror. Yeah, it still is. I know. But I guess the vibe I get from this is more Lethal Company than Garten of Banban. Not enough has come out to really showcase what exactly it's trying to be, but this trailer gets me at least interested. If Mickey takes off the Steamboat Willie hat, can Disney sue? If... You're talking about like in the game or in the movie? I guess either one. Probably. I don't know the particulars of how exactly Steamboat Willie Mickey is public domain and all of that. I guess if in the movie he's... like maybe he makes a noise that's not Steamboat Willie adjacent, they could probably sue. And knowing Disney, they'd probably fucking execute you for it, for stepping on their copyright. I have no idea. No, I don't think there's a release date for this game yet, is there? This is just an announcement that they're working on it. Again, Mickey Mouse just became public today. There's still so much time for people to mutilate Mickey Mouse's corpse. Steamboat Willie has only been off the leash for like 24, not even 24 hours yet. There's going to be some deplorable garbage that gets pooped out using Mickey Mouse. It's going to have Walt Disney die again. But this time of cringe. There's a really cool boomer shooter called Mouse. Oh, yeah, that's right. There is another Mickey Mouse game, isn't there? That's the one that looks like Bindi and the Ink Machine that I was thinking about. I saw this on Twitter today, but this was uploaded 2 weeks ago. So that can't legally be Mickey. This just happens to be Bad Mouse Guy. It's not Steamboat Willie, just same animation style. Oh, okay. I saw this on Twitter today, so I thought it was Mickey Mouse because of public domain. But it does look really cool. I want this. Yeah, it looks good. No, it looks like they did a great job with that. The new Deadpool movie has arrived at a time where interest and hype in the Marvel movies couldn't be lower. Most people seem to have more hype around finding an extra chicken nugget in their Chick-fil-A order than they do for a new Marvel film that comes out. But this one, kind of a special exception for most people, myself included. I like Deadpool 1 and 2 quite a bit, so I had high expectations for this one, and no matter how hard film Twitter wanted to convince people that this was going to be a disaster, it's just not. Also, while on that topic briefly, what the fuck has happened to film Twitter? They're off their gourds sometimes. So for those that don't know, there was like a sneak peek scene of Deadpool and Wolverine that went online, and Twitter ate it alive. They went ballistic, blowing a gasket about like, this is not only the worst scene in a Marvel movie, but the color grading here makes it one of the worst scenes Hollywood has ever produced on the big screen in 100 years. This movie is unacceptable. It looks like a film student project. This movie's dead on arrival. All from one like 2-minute scene. Anyway, the movie's good. I really enjoyed it. However, it is my least favorite out of the three. I think out of the 3 Deadpool movies, this one's probably the weakest. And it might be because there was too many cooks in the kitchen. I know it has like 5 writers on this one, whereas previous ones had 2 and 3. Or maybe it's just a symptom of knowing what to expect with Deadpool now. For the first 2 films, I wasn't like the most die-hard Deadpool enthusiast, like, you know, fucking encyclopedic knowledge of everything about the characters. So I went into those movies pretty blind and was not really familiar with what kind of humor Ryan Reynolds could breathe into a character like Deadpool. But now Ryan Reynolds is a superstar, damn near household name. I bet if you polled 1,000 Americans right now, there'd be more people that knew Ryan Reynolds' name than Jesus Christ. Like, he is a very big, popular actor, and his humor is Deadpool's humor. So, since Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds has used that same humor in pretty much all of his films, and it's not a bad thing because it's still entertaining. He is still a guy that makes me giggle, but it didn't have me giggling as much as the first two. Like, I wasn't spitting up in my seat, kicking my legs or anything, right? But it did have me laughing a couple of times, which is infinitely more than I can say for many other films that inject comedy into it. The Hollywood comedy formula has been big stinky for a minute now. And even though I wasn't laughing as hard as previous Deadpool movies, I actually thought it excelled in a couple of other areas. And I'll get to that in just a minute. Real quick, I want to give a big thanks to a sponsor. Big thanks to Helix for sponsoring this video. You've heard me talk about Helix quite a few times over the last few years, and that's because I've used Helix mattresses for the last few years, and I really think that they're great mattresses. They feel catered to your specific body type, and that's because of the sleep quiz they have you take, which asks you questions about your sleep preferences as well as like your body type, and it matches you with a mattress that really feels perfectly catered for that. Based on my results, Helix matched me with their Dusk Luxe mattress because I like the medium feel and tend to sleep on my stomach and back. So I think it's an extremely comfortable mattress. It was also really convenient because it gets delivered right to your door. It's in a box, it's rolled up, you unroll it, and it's just quick to set up. There's also a 100-night trial to ensure that you love it. Helix mattresses have a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. You can get started with a Helix mattress by clicking the link in the description below. Right now there's a 4th of July sale going on, so you can actually get 30% off of Luxe and Elite mattresses, plus 2 free pillows, and generally 25% off site-wide. So once again, big thanks to Helix for sponsoring this video. You can click the link in the description below to get started. So where I think Deadpool did an extraordinary job is with its action. I've always enjoyed the highly stylized action of the Deadpool films, but this one really goes fucking hog wild with the action. There is a lot of big scale action sequences here, and they are fucking hype. Like, the very first action scene happens like 5 minutes into the film, and it's got the Backstreet Boys playing, and it's just so creative and so good. It is oozing with style, and I loved it. Even in the big action scenes where there's a lot of moving pieces, like there's a lot of pawns getting like insta-gibbed like it's Team Fortress 2, there's a lot of heroes like fighting all at once, it never feels like just clutter. Which in a lot of films, when you have a lot of people on screen all fighting, it just looks like fucking noise. You can't make heads or tails of it. It's like a bunch of action figures just colliding into each other. But here, it's not really like that. You could focus on each individual character and see the henchmen that they're fighting, and it's still well choreographed, and there's like visual effects that are put in there with like actual tender love and care. So you'll have just a side character blowing up a henchman and their titty flies off, and there's like blood flying all over the place in the background. Like, they clearly put a lot of care into the big sequences, and it shows. I think the action was probably the best in the series, to me at least. I really enjoyed it, and I think something that helped really elevate that is just how much I cared about some of the characters they introduced. Now, that does come with like a flip side of the coin, because unfortunately that took away from some already established characters in the Deadpool series, but man, it's hard to be disappointed with some of the fucking cameos here. And I'm not really like the kind of, you know, Star Wars glup shitto enthusiast where I'm pointing at the screen like, I know that character, that's so fucking huge, I'm super satisfied now, just from seeing a character I recognize. But man, I was fucking close with this one. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there are some characters that come in here that I would have never expected were a possibility to enter this film. It started teetering on fanfic levels, like Dragon Ball Z homebrew characters type shit, where you have like a fantasy football team of your favorite Dragon Ball characters teaming up. That's what this movie does. Quite a bit, actually. And that actually comes with a little bit of a complaint from me, because they have so many cameos that by the 40th one, you're like, oh man, Jesus Christ, again? Like, you can only be shocked so many times, and they were clearly relying on that as like a big surprise factor to like get you on the edge of your seat. And it did work for the most part, but it's through the entire film, like all the way up until the final fight, there are still new cameos coming in. So it did get a little bit like tiresome, like holy shit, more? God damn. But it's not that big of a deal, because it did make it very interesting, to say the least. Now, by far the weakest part of this movie is its narrative. It feels like a bit of a fucking mess. Like, they definitely had an idea in mind on what kind of story they wanted to tell, but no idea how to get there. So it ends up just having a bunch of shit ham-fisted into this pot like a witch's cauldron that never quite makes a great potion. And I think it's because they tried to tell too many stories within that, So it's telling an emotional Deadpool story while also telling an emotional Logan story because we have the Wolverine here. It's not the same Wolverine that we know from Logan, but it's a new Wolverine that they give depth to and they give us the backstory to. They give us a lot of characterization of. So because they're trying to tell a couple of different stories within this plot thread, it just makes it kind of messy. And getting into the final act, it really starts to show because then the villain all of a sudden is like, you know what, I could have done this at any time, and now I'm going to do it now because you actually kind of peeved me a bit. So the main villain's like, you've slightly inconvenienced me, it hurt my feelings, so I'm going to destroy everything. This is a multiverse ending threat because in Marvel, everything has to be or people don't care anymore. So every single threat has to be the biggest possible threat ever. And it's up to Deadpool and Wolverine to stop him. And I just feel like they did a pretty poor job of setting that up. It just feels like a bit of an ass pull at the end. And I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible here. The movie is very meta, as of course you'd expect from Deadpool. And as I said in the previous two Deadpool films, I'm not usually a big fan of like constant fourth wall breaking. But here, a lot of the times when the fourth wall is broken, it's actually to insult the state of Marvel films and like superhero fatigue kind of to a certain extent, which did have me grinning. Like that made me laugh. And one of the things it does when it's in this meta commentary stage when breaking the fourth wall is Deadpool says that people are tired of the multiverse, which is 100% on the money right there. That's pinning the tail right on the donkey. I know for me personally, I'm definitely tired of everything being multiverse. Fucking 5 billion clones of Ant-Man over here. Doctor Strange, evil Doctor Strange, Dr. Mange, where it's a dog that's inflicted with mange but has still the fucking time stone or something. Like, all of it, it's just played out now. Like, most of the audience, I imagine, is probably getting kind of sick of the multiverse, and Deadpool makes a joke about it. Saying shit like, the audience is starting to lose interest in the multiverse, it's scoring really low on audience satisfaction charts, this and that, it's been rode hard, put away wet, whatever. You know, making these jokes about the multiverse, but then still being a movie that is centered all around the multiverse. So, like, especially in the final act, it's like, damn, more multiverse shit. Again, and a lot of it. It's like, come on. Like, the jokes are good, but you're still doing exactly what's being criticized. Now, maybe it's because their hands were tied and they were forced to do a multiverse story here in order to, like, synthesize Deadpool into, like, the mainline MCU and all of that. That's super possible. But I mean, damn, it really, like, the multiverse itself is getting so fucking tiresome for sure. What's not tiresome, though, is the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Deadpool and Wolverine obviously are the bulk of the screen time in this movie, and their banter back and forth never got old, and their fights never got old. I really think that is such a strong combination. I imagine they'll do more with those two characters on screen together. There were quite a few jokes made about how Hugh Jackman's going to be playing this role till he's deep in his fucking 90s and geriatric and senile. I think that's probably on the table. Like, I imagine with Disney as the overlord puppet master now, he absolutely will be just this fucking Wolverine puppet for the rest of his life. And if this movie's anything to go by, it's probably still going to be good. So I guess we could look forward to more of that maybe. But like I said, overall, I enjoyed the movie, but of the three Deadpool films, this one is my least favorite, even though I still really enjoyed it. Plugging it into the moist meter, I'd comfortably give it like a 75%. I wasn't disappointed or anything like that. I had a good time, and that's about it. See ya.